Hello BookTube, welcome back to my 2025 library tour. In this episode, the second leg of my manga tour. Yesterday we completed that leg over there. So this bookcase is going to be a bit quicker. There aren't as many series or individual volumes to deal with, but there is one rather long series to start off with, and that is The Seven Deadly Sins by Nakaba Suzuki. The Seven Deadly Sins is a manga series inspired by the Arthurian mythos. It's set in the kingdom of Leones, a country in the land of Britannia. A group of superhuman knights called the Holy Knights have overthrown the king of Leones. His youngest daughter, Elizabeth, has fled the castle and the capital and has gone in search of the Seven Deadly Sins, a rogue order of holy knights who 10 years previously were accused of assassinating the then commander of the Holy Knights and trying to overthrow the kingdom. Elizabeth meets Melodius, the former leader of the Seven Deadly Sins, and together they go in search of the other six to get the band back together so that they can defeat the Holy Knights who have become tyrannical, restore the king to his throne, and attempt to prevent the resumption of a holy war that took place 1,000 years before. This series is a lot of fun. I love the character work. The storyline is it's a lot of fun. So this is volume 1. Volume 2. Volume 3. Volume 4. Volume 5. Volume 6. Volume 7. Volume 8. Volume 9. Volume 10. Volume 11. Volume 12. Volume 13. Volume 14. Volume 15. Volume 16. Volume 17. Volume 18. Volume 19. Volume 20. Volume 21. So we're more than halfway through. Volume 22. Volume 23. Volume 24. Volume 25. Volume 26. Volume 27. Volume 28. Volume 29. Volume 30, Volume 31, Volume 32, Volume 33, Volume 34, Volume 35, Volume 36, Volume 37, Volume 38, Volume 39, Volume 40, and Volume 41, the final volume. So, I first tried the Seven Deadly Sins several years ago, about 10 years ago, when it first came out. I didn't quite get on with it at the time, but in late 2020, I got back into manga in a large way, in a huge way, and one of the two series that really got me back into manga was the Seven Deadly Sins. And I decided a few months later, to actively start collecting manga again, that the Seven Deadly Sins would be one of the first series that I would focus on. And I have completed the series and read the whole of it, and I think I will reread the series in May. Now, once the Seven Deadly Sins completed, Nakaba Suzuki started on a new series, a sequel series, called The Four Knights of the Apocalypse. This series takes place less than 20 years after the end of the Seven Deadly Sins, and is about four young holy knights, the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, who are prophesied to bring about the downfall of a corrupted King Arthur and his attempt to recreate Camelot in a pocket dimension at the expense of Britannia, and with an anti-non-human agenda. So the Four Knights of the Apocalypse are Percival, the main character, Lancelot, Gawain, and Tristan. While Lancelot and Gawain are the loners of the four, Percival and Tristan have companions, friends who travel with them. In Percival's case, these friends are Nascence, Donnie, and Anne. And so they are seeking a way to get into Camelot so they can kick King Arthur's ass. I have fallen in love with the series, and I have been caught up with it for quite some time, and I am really looking forward to seeing where the series goes from here. So I have Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5, Volume 6, Volume 7, Volume 8, Volume 9, Volume 10, Volume 11, Volume 12, Volume 13, and Volume 14. The most recent volume is Volume 15, which came out a few weeks ago, and is currently, my copy is currently still hanging out at Book People in Austin, waiting to be shipped with the rest of my February pre-orders, which I should get hopefully either this weekend or more likely early next week. And I'm really looking forward to Volume 15. So look forward to that part of the haul, my February pre-order haul, either this weekend or more likely early next week, when I will be getting to my February pre-orders. So now let's talk about some Transwise books. First up is Dr. Stone Volume 7 by Riichiro Inagaki and Boichi. This is the Japanese version of Dr. Stone, which we'll get to the English translation in a little bit. So a few months ago, I ordered Volume 7 of Dr. Stone from Powell's, and instead of the English translation, they, by mistake, sent the Japanese original, which I'm okay with, because it is really neat, and I'm actually quite interested in picking up not necessarily whole series, but select volumes of the series that I really enjoy. Like, I would love to have a Japanese original of Naruto and Fairy Tail and that. So, quite happy to have this. And the other one is Dick Fight Island Volume 1 by Reiben Iki. This is a first volume of a boys' love manga, which is a subgenre of manga usually written by women for women. In this series, it's about a mysterious island and their weird method of determining kingship, which involves basically, yeah. I did not particularly care for it when I tried to read it a few years ago when it came out. I might give it another go, or I might not. Anyway, moving on. The next 4 volumes are part of Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. This is a series in which giant monsters named Kaiju routinely attack Japan, and Japan has taken or created a special task force to fight these Kaiju. Kafka is not part of this task force, at least not initially. He is rather part of the cleanup crew, whose job it is to clean up the mess that results from the Kaiju getting splattered. However, he aspires to join the task force and is able to do so once he is merged with a mosquito-like Kaiju, transforming him into a human Kaiju hybrid. So this series started to come out a few years ago. I picked up the first 2 or 3 volumes, and initially I liked it, but my enthusiasm for it declined. So I might give this another go sometime this year as well, and see if my opinions have swung back the other way. So this is Volume 2. Yes, Volume 2. Volume 3. And Volume 4. So the next volume is the first volume of a series that has just recently started publication, and its English release has just started, and that is Kagurabachi. This is Volume 1 by Takeru Hokazono. So this is a series about a young man named Chihiro, whose father was a swordsmith crafting magical swords. A group of evil sorcerers have killed him and stolen the swords, save for one, which Chihiro has taken into his own possession and has, in the year since his father's death, trained as a swordsman so that he can track down these evil sorcerers and exact bloody revenge. This first volume was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to volume 2, which has just come out a few weeks ago, and is along with volume 15 of Four Nights at the Apocalypse, waiting for it to be shipped out from Book People, which hopefully, again, either later this week or sometime this weekend or early next week. So, because I'm really looking forward to volume 2. Next up is a series that I just tried out a few weeks ago, and that is Mission Yozakura Family Volume 1 by Hitsuji Gondaira. So this is the story of a young man named Taiyo who is friends with a young woman named Mitsumi. Mitsumi Yozakura is part of a family of superhuman assassins whose elder brother is incredibly overprotective of her for good reason. And his next target is Taiyo. So in order to protect him, Mitsumi and the rest of the family arrange a marriage between Taiyo and Mitsumi. And this protects him from the older brother, but it does force him to participate in Yozakura family practices. And so he trains to be a bodyguard and a spy so that he can help protect Mitsumi, who is the only member of the family who is a mundane human. This series was a lot of fun. This is the only volume I have, but I intend to get more volumes soon. Next is Attack on Titan Volume 1 by Hajime Isayama. This was a major series that came out during the early 2010s. It's about a civilization on the brink of collapse, a city that is perhaps the last city in the world that is protected by several giant walls that attempt to protect the city from regular incursions of giant humanoid monsters called Titans. The main characters, including Eren Yeager, are training to join a special corps that serve as the first line of defense against these monsters. I tried the series a few years ago and didn't quite click with it, but I want to give it another go. I've wanted to give it another go for quite some time, so I'm going to do that. I think what I might do with it, Attack on Titan, is I have a number of other number 1 volumes, so I'm probably going to gather them all into like 3 and then one day just read them and decide if I want to start picking them up. So the next batch of books are volumes of Dr. Stone by Riichiro Inagaki and Boichi, who does the art. So these are the English translations of Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone is a post-apocalyptic series taking place 5,000 years after a strange incident in which most of humanity is petrified. Teen genius named Sunku breaks out of his petrification alongside his best friend Taiju, and together they try to restart civilization using the power of science. However, not everybody wants civilization to be restored as it was. And that breeds a lot of the conflict of the series. So I have volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I've just recently gotten into Sakamoto Days by Yuto Suzuki. So Sakamoto Days is about a former hitman named Taro Sakamoto who one day fell in love with a convenience store clerk and married her and went into the convenience store business. They have since had a daughter, Hannah. However, 5 years after Taro left the assassination business, his world has found him and is not finished with him. And Taro has to protect his family and try to pull in some former colleagues to help him out with that. This series is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Yesterday I read volumes 2 and 3 and I had a blast. So, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. And I will be adding more Sakamoto Days to my collection soon. So, the last manga series on this bookcase is Twin Star Exorcists by Yoshiaki Tsukino. So this is a series about two prodigy exorcists, Rokuro and Benio. One day, an incident happens at Rokuro's dorm that drives him out of the exorcist business. Benio is still an exorcist. One day, their superiors inform them that they are the Twin Star Exorcists. Exorcists fated to marry and produce a super exorcist who will end the 1,000-year war between the exorcists and a species of monster called Kigare, who live in an alternate dimension called Magano. Not wanting their prophesied child to have to deal with this crap themselves, Rokuro and Benio Rokuro in particular, decides to rededicate himself to his exorcist training and to becoming a kick-ass exorcist. And their story goes from there. I really enjoyed this series when I first started it, and I kind of petered out about midway through, but I'm going to starting either this weekend or sometime next week start back up with Twin Star Exorcists, and I'm hoping I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. So this is volume 1. Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, Volume 5. One thing I really enjoy about this series is the slow romance that does build between Rokuro and Benio. Volume 6, Volume 7, Volume 8, Volume 9, Volume 10, Volume 11, Volume 12, Volume 13, Volume 14, this is Volume 14, Volume 15, Volume 16, Volume 17, Volume 18, Volume 19, Volume 20, Volume 21, Volume 22, Volume 23, Volume 24, Volume 25, Volume 26, Volume 27, Volume 28, Volume 29, and Volume 30. I am currently missing Volumes 31 and 32. Volume 33 releases today, and I will likely, during my next PALS order Volumes 31, 32, and 33, and go ahead and start having Volumes 34 and 35 on my radar so I can pre-order them when they come out, because there are only 35 volumes. Twin Star Exorcist finished its run sometime last year, and the English translations of the final volumes are coming out this year. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, BookTube, that concludes the second leg of my manga collection. Tomorrow I will be moving to this bookcase right here. So until then, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, and stay safe.